just take a look, like what were you focusing on right before you came to this call? What was, you just reflect back, a few minutes ago. What was your inner experience? And what is it now? So you might first be aware of objects like the breath. So objects, something we can define like the breath, sensations, emotions, perceptions, sounds, touch, things you feel, like you feel your seat on the chair, your back against the chair. And then just relax your attention away from all of that, just as best you can. And into the spaciousness from which all of this arises. So if you're chewing on a problem, for example, just let that go for now. You can pick it up later. If there's a worry, and an emotion, and maybe some story around that emotion, just shift. You're not getting rid of anything, but shifting your attention back to this openness, silence. Just an underlying sense of isness, of aliveness here. Something is here and alive now. So I talk a lot about the shift of attention. So noticing that, like right now, if you wanted to, you could go into your mind, you could put your attention onto thoughts, you could think about something that's been up for you or just anything. So that means your attention has gone into thinking. Language now gets involved in that, which is a mental process. Like we say a word and we all know what that means because we all speak English. That's mental. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but just to know that that's a mental way of perceiving what's here. And when it's mental, it's one step away from the actual reality of it. Like if I say tree, we can all picture some form of a tree. But to really take in a tree, it's in our direct experience, beyond words or prior to words. We just take in treeness. And it's the same with everything. So sensation, you might go, oh, I feel a tension in my belly. And then just for now, subtract the words, subtract the mental element, and just be one with that sensation as it is, indescribable. you could describe it, but to describe it is one step away from it. So being in direct experience, just pick a sensation right now and just be in direct experience with that sensation. And then you might or might not notice the timelessness around that. So in the moment, we use that word, but it's not a slice in time. It's an openness into timelessness. It just is. It's an arising. So there's no time to even label a sensation. There's just the beingness of what is. That's where form melts into the formless. And if this is hard for you or triggering you, drop it. Yeah, don't struggle. So just play with this. Like, what is this beingness like right now for you? And now bring up an emotion that you've been experiencing recently. Just whatever comes to mind, doesn't matter. And now put your attention there and just kind of give that some juice, that emotion, and maybe even the story of it and what's behind it. Just feel what that's like. So you're leaving, in a sense, leaving this openness and putting your attention right onto that emotion to really feel it. And now with your attention, just let that go and come back. In everyday life, embodied presence, this shifting of attention is really something to pay attention to. So when you're caught up somehow, like in a pattern, some kind of conditioning, you've been triggered, the first thing that happens is the, oh, here I am. Okay, this is an opportunity now. Right away, you haven't made your attention shift, it's shifted on its own. That's a moment that's been given to you by grace. Somehow, there's been some openness where you were in the second prior caught in the kind of intensity of the pattern. And then this moment of awakening, like, I'm in a pattern. You haven't made that happen. You can't actually make that happen. That's a moment that's been given, which is true of all moments. And what has happened there is your attention is freed up from the conditioned nature of the pattern, from the grabbiness of it. And now there's freedom, possibility, openness, flexibility. So all of this practice and, just everything we've done in our time together, it's all about practicing, knowing that this attention shift can happen, just what it feels like for you. So, for example, and this has come up a few times here, uh, you're in a conversation with someone and you're kind of in it, and maybe it's getting a little off or heated or uncomfortable. And then the light dawns, right? The light comes up. This is uncomfortable. That's your moment. I also want to say that this message here is not that you're always supposed to be conscious of the flow. Life, there's an underlying flow of life unfolding that's always here. You don't have to always know that with your mind. So the invitation is to surrender and let yourself be taken by it. And what do you surrender? Personal control, personal identity, needs, expectations, desires, resistance. And let yourself be the vehicle through which life flows. Then your mind is really not so useful here. It is as a tool, but it can't know what's going to happen. How do you know what's happening? It happens. That's the only way you know. So all life is here in this present moment and only here. So take a breath. Whatever your experience is in this moment, just let it deepen even more. Let it expand and open and be boundless. Know the boundlessness that's already here. There's been some talk about boundaries here in these sessions that we've had here together. Here in this openness, no boundaries. And everything included. It's impossible for anything to be excluded from reality. Vast openness that includes everything. So, in the terms of everyday life and embodied awakening, a little tip, I think, would be don't know, and listen, and let yourself be moved. So you go from being in control and solving and fixing. Those are the functions of the separate self. So the shift from that to, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to be moved. And I'm willing to listen and follow what I hear. Then you're serving life. Your personal life is in the service of all of life. Heart open, clear mind. It's very simple. There's nothing to figure out. And in this open receptiveness is creativity and inspiration, beauty, endless gratitude, tenderness. Toward everything. So the opposites fall away, good, bad, like, don't like. And there's just this openness to everything. So come into your body. As you're ready, you can open your eyes. So we've added the element of seeing. So see whatever is coming to you. Let the world come to you. You're here, open. Let the world come to you. And don't know until you know. When you know, you know.